Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. I'm so excited today to share with you the magic of the breath. I have been a singer and a yogi for about 25 years now, and the breath is essential in both those practices. And what I've grown to know is that it's so essential for something else too. And this is what I want to share with you today. Thanks for joining this 30 days to free your voice and free your life. I just want to see where okay, I'm supposed to be looking over here. I still don't know my phone. All right, my name is ABraxas, and I love helping people remember their greatness. So let's dive in. All right, the breath. The breath is super important. We know we stop breathing, we die. It's also super important for your voice. It's the fuel, it's the support, it is the voice. So what happens is the breath comes past the vocal cords, and with our intention, instead of an exhale, creates a sound wave, and we get to have sound. So that's pretty magical. But there's another reason why the breath is so important and so magical, is that it's what connects us with the spirit world, with the universal consciousness. So as we inhale, we connect, and we connect with the prana. And in yoga, we call it prana. It's life force energy, it's Reiki, it's vibration, whatever you want to call it, it's God. And the breath is our connection force from the physical body to the non-physical, the non-physical to the physical body. And the breath is that connection piece. And in yoga, that life force energy rides on the wave of the breath, and that's really kind of cool, I think. So when we are not really in tune with our breath, or we're shortening our breath, or something's going on in a disease process with our breath, it's really a telltale. So it's so cool, this practice of vocal awareness, because you need breath to make a sound. You need breath to sing. So while you're becoming aware of your sound and how to open your voice, you're becoming more aligned and more connected to your spirit or universal infinite self too. And this has been my practice. And what I have found is that as I was doing my yoga practice through the years, my voice started opening. Things started to kind of just shift and release, so that I was able to really open my voice and open my life. So I'm going to check my notes here real quick. So when we say yes to the breath, when we take a full breath in, we're really saying yes to our life, yes to our song, yes to receiving, yes to contributing in the world. There's so much we're saying yes to by taking in a breath. It's super, super important. Now, I'm going to go over the mechanics of breathing tomorrow, but today I just want to tune into our breath and see what awareness we can find. And so there's many disease processes, as I mentioned earlier, about breathing and not being able to breathe. We have emphysema and COPD, and we have asthma, and we have allergies, and there's so many things that can affect the breath. Now we have COVID. So the thing is that how we receive and take in the breath and how we release the breath is really telltaling of an energetic piece and our spiritual connection. So as a yoga therapist, we always take a look of what's the underlying current of things. And I mentioned that yesterday in what's really creating jaw tension. And so what's really creating our breath disturbances, right? What's really creating a shorter breath? A lot of times it's just stress. I know I have been sitting at my desk and working on a business that was just lost its lackluster, and I would tune into my breath, and it was really shallow. You know, what it told me was that I really wasn't wanting to take in this business anymore, right? And so where in your life have you noticed that, wow, I'm just breathing kind of shallow? What's going on with that? In asthma, what's really happening is it's not about not being able to take a breath. It's actually about not being able to exhale and not being able to give, right? Not able to contribute, maybe because of self-worth or not good enough or whatever else. Like, so it's like when we're not willing to exhale and give out, and there's that breathing disturbance, that gives us a lot of information. Same thing with something like emphysema, when the elastic around the alveoli in the lungs, it gets dense and it gets thick, and it's really hard to take a breath in because that elastic won't expand anymore. What is that saying? I can't take in air. I can't take in life. I don't want to take in anymore. So our breathing patterns really show us a lot. And in the 5 kosha model of yoga, it really takes a look at breath as being our energetic system. And when that's disturbed, a lot of times the next level is a physical manifestation of some kind of symptom. So every physical symptom, including our having a voice or not having a voice, is related to the energetics, and then related to our mental emotional patterns, and then related to our ability to witness and have intuition, and really ultimately is related to our ability to connect to our essence, our spirit selves, our infinite being. So really, when we have a hard time supporting our lives and supporting our voice with the breath, we are really having a hard time connecting and trusting our true nature. And so this is what singing has showed me over the years. And so life is this reciprocal force of receiving and giving, receiving and giving, and receiving and giving, and inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale. Are we willing to play that game? Are we willing to be in this reciprocal relationship? And when we're not, that's when the life force energy starts to kind of diminish in our body, and perhaps we start that process of letting go of the body. So that said, how do we support our voice and our life with the breath? We start building awareness, and that's why I love vocal awareness work. So today I want to do a little practice with you all. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 5 breaths. The first 4 breaths, I just want you to get still and be aware. Kind of step outside yourself a little bit, be the witness of yourself, and just be aware of yourself breathing. And on the 5th exhale, I want you just to let out an ah, okay? And I'll help us along here. I'll tell you which breath we're on, and we'll do it together. And I'm just curious what comes out for you. So in the comments, for sure, whether this is on a replay or live here, just put in the comments what you noticed. All right, and I'll get to your comments after the video. All right, so here we go. Take a breath in. Out. Breath 2. Breath 3. Breath 4. Breath 5, exhale at the ah. Ah. So, a few things here. What did you notice? What did you notice with your breath? Was it shallow? Was it deep? Did you breathe into your belly, your chest? Did you notice the breath expand your back at all, or the sides, your rib cage? Did it feel constricted and limited? Did you feel locked up? Did you feel open and free? What did the sound come out like? Was it pure and clear? Was it kind of like soft and garbly, or interrupted, or loud, boomy? What was it? Did your mind start to kind of get in the way a little bit? Did it start getting confused what you were doing? Did it start having judgments? All things to notice and write down. And so this is a really powerful practice, to keep noticing the breath in the body. And then that last part, turning the breath into sound. And what that created for you, and what awareness that brought up about perhaps tightening and contracting through here the minute the breath had to turn to sound. So really good things to notice. All right, so we're going to do another exercise. We're going to do another exercise, and this has to do with like imagining ourselves as a cylinder. All right, so think of a cylinder. It's a circle on top, a circle on the bottom, and then just a long circular tube, right? Imagine your torso is a cylinder, okay? And I want you to fill up the cylinder completely. That means you have to get into the front of the cylinder, the back of the cylinder, and the sides of the cylinder. So practice right now taking a deep enough breath to fill that whole cylinder. Now this might be hard because some of us are just used to breathing from the front of our body. And we go in tomorrow to the mechanics. We're going to talk about why it's so important to breathe fully into the whole cylinder and not just the front. So give that a try. Let's try 5 breaths and see if you can manage to fill up that whole cylinder. So feeling pressure in that whole front, back, and sides. Okay, here we go. So first breath. Second breath. All right. So what was that like for you? Were you able to fill up the whole cylinder? Were you able to feel the breath in the sides? Were you able to feel the breath move the back of the body? Super, super important. All right. Well, now let's take the breath again into sound. Now that we have created the cylinder and we're like, oh yeah, okay, we have a little awareness about how much breath we want. What I want you to do now is take that cylinder breath and then let out an ah, okay? Notice to get the right amount of air, or I don't want to use the word right, to get a full amount of air, your posture has to be nice and straight, shoulders back and down. We don't want to be collapsing because that collapses the whole, that starts to put pressure on the whole rib cage, and we can't expand the rib cages. So I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. But just relax the shoulders back and down, open up your big torso cylinder, and here we go, taking a breath in to the whole cylinder and letting out an ah. Ah. Good. Now let's take a breath in, doing that cylinder idea, but also with yesterday's activity with letting the jaw go, right? We really want to open and relax the jaw open, okay? Creating more space for that sound wave, okay? So here we go. So take a nice breath in, cylinder. So, did you notice that you had a long sound, or did it seem to poop? Did it seem to poop out after a little while? So tomorrow we're going to go over that. We'll go over how to sustain a sound for a longer amount of time. That has to do with some breathing dynamics. But for right now, it's really important to learn how to witness yourself breathing. Now, a good practice to do in the next 24 hours is to take a look, really tune in, like doing different things, washing the dishes, making food, laying down, taking a nap, watching TV, writing in your journal, going for a walk. How do your breathing patterns change? And ask a question. What's this about? What awareness do I have? Is my breath giving me? What awareness is my breath giving me? So the more intimate relationship we have with the breath, the more we will support our voice, the more prana and life force we will embody into these bodies, all right? And the more awareness we will glean. And the awareness that the breath is giving us is, hey, this is what's going on in your energy body. This is what's going on with your connection with your spiritual essence. And then guess what? When that's full and ripe and that relationship is just growing in a beautiful way, that comes through the voice. That frequency comes through the voice. But when the breath is constricted, think about this. If I asked someone to sing who felt very restricted and they were chest breathers and they breathed really like shallow, and then I said, sing something for me. You don't have that breath support, and you would really think that you can't sing. And without breath support also, you start to kind of not be able to stay on pitch or on key. So then people think they're tone deaf and they can't match a pitch. But when really, if they just open themselves up to receiving the breath and learning how to exhale properly, they would have the support of the breath, and then they would see that they really can sing. So if you have a speaking voice, you can sing. It's just learning how to get the right support. And it's the same thing. If you have a body, you can do things in it. You can be enlivened. It's just learning how to have the right support with life force, with breath, with embodiment. So, all right, folks, there's 3 things to try out today. That is the five breaths, right? On the 5th breath, you're letting go into an ah. The second one is the cylinder breath, where you're filling up the front, the back, and the sides. And then the third exercise is to notice your breath in all the different activities you're doing in your day. Okay? All right. Until tomorrow, tomorrow we'll go over the mechanics of the breathing and how to sustain your sound and your breath. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. And if you would like more information about breath work, consciousness, singing, opening up, confidence, that kind of stuff, please subscribe to my YouTube channel here, because we have a whole 30-day series that we're going to be talking about these topics. All right, go have a beautiful, beautiful day full of life force and breath. Bye.